How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here in our video. So, of course, it's time for another Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Preview. So, in the last draft preview, we took a look at the top defensive lineman prospects in the late first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. And in this video, we're going to wrap up the first round one portions of the draft previews by taking a look at the top late first round defensive back and safety prospects to keep an eye on in round one of the 2025 NFL Draft. As for corners, well, really the only two corners we're not going to go over are Will Johnson and Travis Hunter, since they're both going to go top 5, top 10, no doubt. But after that, it gets a bit interesting and a bit wide open. And especially safeties, too, since usually safeties haven't been the most sexiest pick in the world. Plus, a safety wasn't taken in the first round of last year's draft. Like, the last time a safety was taken very high was Devin Witherspoon at 5th, which is very rare, considering safety's not the sexiest pick in the world, like I'd already mentioned. But, you know, should be interesting. But, yeah, but I think that run is going to end this year, as there's some pretty good prospects to keep an eye on. So, yeah, anyway, we're going to take a look at this year's draft class, and we're going to see which players the Lions should keep an eye on in late round one of the draft. So, let's go. So, starting off with the corners, the first one we're going to go over here, hailing out of Texas, standing 5'11", weighing 192 pounds, we got Jahdae Barron. So for Jahdae's strengths, he's one of the most versatile defensive backs in the class, has gotten reps at nickel, outside corner, and safety, so has versatility. He can play anywhere in the secondary. Could sell him to teams that have thin secondary rooms of any type. He reads the field well, has good zone instincts, can cover the correct receiver. He keeps in mind where he has to support, where he doesn't. And tackling form's excellent, and when he's asked to move downhill, does so with ease. Ball skills impressive, understands leverage and positioning, can make a turnover into a chunk play after the catch. Good athletic traits that can keep pace with NFL talent. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's a little bit old as a prospect. He'll be 24 by the end of his first season, which may cap his upside. He had a hard time disengaging from blocks in the open field. Could be better at turning to give support to other players on the field. He has a health history that could raise some eyebrows. Could do better work down the route and man. Carries guys well, but again, the turns are a little stiff from him, and you would like to see him flip his hips a little more effectively or efficiently. Occasionally whiffs on tackles that cause big plays because he's the last line of support, and he has limited arm length. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to free agent corner Casey Hayward. So overall, a lot of things to like out of his game. He's pretty much a secondary Swiss Army knife. Can play almost anywhere in the secondary, wherever you line him up. So, you know, feeling health histories, I don't really care about the age thing, because 24 is not really considered your prime yet. So, yeah, you're not really at your peak yet. But, I'd still say someone to keep an eye on for sure. And the last corner we're going to go over before we move on to safeties, we have hailing out of Ole Miss, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 195 pounds. We got Trey Amos. So for Trey, he's your prototype closing recovery corner because it took time for him to find it. He blossomed with the Rebels, had a major jump in ball production with obvious ability to close. I also forgot to mention before we move on that Jahdae Barron. He's your prototype read and react corner because he's one of the most instinctive defenders in the class, with great processes, speed, feet, positioning, push, which allows him to be on time. But anyway, I forgot to mention that with Jahdae Barron. But anyway, back to Trey Amos in terms of his strengths. Ball skills are top-notch. Not only is he fast enough to keep pace with receivers in order to be in a position to make plays, also has strong instincts and timing, allows him to get his hands on the ball. Fluid hips also contribute to his ball hawk reputation. He's able to turn much faster than the average corner, can get immediate leverage to get a deflection. Alongside this, has great immediate press reps, good physicality, not afraid to give a receiver a quick jam. Makes sure he maintains a physical presence and near the receiver. But he's not so handsy that he draws consistent pass interference calls. In terms of his weaknesses, though, the worries with him come mostly from his run stopping and his tackling ability. Doesn't have the functional strength to disengage from a block. Can be easily taken out of contention for a tackle as long as the blocker has more functional weight. He's content to just flail around and try to use his lateral agility. Just isn't effective with a strong defensive back or a linebacker. He doesn't consistently wrap up as a defender. It can lead to with his body instead of his arms. which can lead to receivers breaking away from his reach and continuing down the field. In terms of this NFL comparison, he's been compared to Tre'Davious White of the Baltimore Ravens. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game. You know, really good on closing the recovery. A couple things to clean up, but I think someone to keep an eye on here for sure. Now moving on to safeties. The first one we're going to go over here. Hailing out of Georgia, standing 6'1", weighing 205 pounds. We got Milwaukee Starks. So for Milwaukee, he's your top playmaker safety because he's an elite athlete, rare instinct, scheme versatility, and he should start early in his career. In terms of his strengths, on his best day, he's likely a 4.37 to 4.41 speed safety. With twitch movements, the brain of a coordinator, speed and explosiveness are no surprise. He was a state long jump champion, was 24.9, was his personal best in Georgia, and he ran a 10.55 in a 100-meter dash. He's a consensus top 4 recruit in the class of 2022. He started 14 games as a freshman, hasn't looked back since. Understands concepts, sees plays develop to direct teammates in the position. Smooth athlete in every direction. Missteps aren't common, but when he's out of alignment, has the ability to recover quickly. Easy back pedal when he presses at the line or in the slot. Runs routes with receivers, can break before they do. He tracks the ball like a wide receiver, can find another gear when necessary. He turns to open, can flip his hips without shifting gears. Closes in a blink in zone coverage. Rapid trigger, can shift in the run support. He's always first to the ball. Not a huge safety, but extremely accurate and secure tackler. Weapon with the ball in his hands. He played offense in high school with 41 total touchdowns. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he can be caught locking eyes with a QB, susceptible to play action and RPO actions and to pass. His aggressiveness likely to show up against elite receivers in the NFL frame. His frame is average for safety, height, weight profile, fit, top end corner. No major injury concerns, but his durability questions come with territory at his weight. Bigger receivers can post him up on short or cross routes, but he competes for jump balls with an impressive vertical and competitive nature. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Grant Delpit of the Cleveland Browns. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Milwaukee's game. You know, a lot of things to like for sure. Absolute playmaker. If he ends up actually being a safety pick, if a lot of teams say they don't care about if it's a sexy pick or not, you know, he could go pretty high in the first round. I think if the Lions are going to have any chance, they're going to have to trade up pretty high into the mid-teens to have any chance probably to get him. But, you know, it could be possible. Brad Holmes does say, fuck them picks. And the final safety, the final player in the secondary, the final player we're going to talk about inside this video. We have hailing out of South Carolina, standing 6'3", weighing 227 pounds. We got Nick Manwari. So for Nick, he's your prototype run support safety because he has unfair size for safety. He can cover, but his background as a high school linebacker, it shows up when he closes on the ball or the ball carrier in front of him. In terms of strength, he loves to tackle after training as a middle linebacker in high school when he was credited with 230 tackles as a senior. And a Herald recruit, he found his way in the starting lineup at South Carolina. He left as a team captain. An all-SEC pick and All-American. Now a safety, he carries a linebacker physique and frame with ease, balance, can catch controlled movements. Tenacious effort, can eat off the four type, demands more from his teammates. Never believes he's out of a play, sheds blocks with arm length and determination, can chase in pursuit, blows up ball carriers in front of him, can make tackles it seems he shouldn't be able to make. He can erase tight ends, can give no quarters, taking them on face mask to face mask. Power conversion when he squares to make contacts uncanny. He tracks the ball well in the air, long speed is lacking. In terms of weaknesses, though, his size and upright style it makes him susceptible to explosive small receivers with instant change of direction agility. He gathers to redirect on in and out routes, but generally maintains visual discipline. He prefers to play with the ball in front of him, uses his field to cover beyond 10 yards. He's accustomed to winning with available tools and will acquire discipline and technique work the more he's used in coverage. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kyle Hamilton and the Baltimore Ravens. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game. Always demands more of his teammate, a locker room leader. Like that there alone is a culture fit for the Lions. So I think just because he's a culture fit, I think that will make him high on Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's draft board without a doubt. So I think this is someone definitely to keep an eye on. But yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up for this Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Preview. So yeah, quite a few interesting prospects to keep an eye on for the late first round. It's like I mentioned, like with the other two draft previews. The Lions' options at pick 28 are very limited because it's literally just throwing darts at a board to see what sticks, because the draft can go really anywhere after the top 10. Just because of every team has different needs, and, it's just a total crapshoot. So, definitely some interesting players to keep an eye on. Now wraps it up actually for all the round 1 draft previews. So yeah, even though this year's haven't been as detailed as before because we haven't gone through that many prospects, because like I mentioned, the Lions options are pretty limited. But when we get to the day 2 picks, those will be a lot more detailed as we go deeper in the draft process. But yeah, that'll wrap it up here. So next time we will begin looking at rounds 2 and 3 of the draft, and look at some of the top offensive lineman prospects for rounds 2 and 3 of the draft to see who the Lions should keep an eye on for day 2. But anyway, that'll wrap it up here. That's all I gotta say. Hope everyone's a great day, and I'll see you all over at Bank next. I'm out.